This is the question we ask about those adorable aquatic salamanders. Do axolotls have feelings? Hello, I'm Shafik, and I'm on a mission to uncover all the mysteries that our underwater friends have left behind in their wake. And one of those mysteries pertains to axolotls, or as I like to call them, the puppies of the aquarium world. Now, as someone who spent more hours than I'd like to admit staring into fish tanks and trying to decipher the secret language of gills and fins, I think I'm qualified to dive into this topic. So come with me into the fascinating world of axolotl emotions and see if we can figure out what's really going on behind those adorable, perpetually smiling faces. You know, when I first started obsessing over axolotls, the one thing that always puzzled me was how these little guys could look so darn happy all the time. I mean, have you ever tried smiling for more than 5 minutes straight? It's exhausting. Now imagine doing that your entire life. Not a grimace in sight. How do they do it? Are they really that content, or is there more going on beneath the surface? So let's talk about these charming little creatures. Axolotls, with their frilly gills and wide-set eyes, look like they've stepped right out of a Pixar movie. They're the salamanders that never grew up, forever stuck in their larval stage, which honestly sounds like a pretty sweet deal. No responsibilities, just vibing in the water all day. But does this Peter Pan lifestyle mean they're immune to the complex world of emotions? Today I'm going to explore whether axolotls experience mood swings and if they have feelings like we do. Because, as it turns out, not all animals experience emotions in the same way. It's like comparing the emotional range of a golden retriever to that of a goldfish. They both might feel things, but they express it very differently. I'm going to show you something that might surprise you about these smiley little fellows. Look at this. You might think axolotls are always in a good mood because of their perpetual grin, but that smile is just the shape of their mouth. It doesn't necessarily mean they're happy. In fact, axolotls can display a range of behaviors that might indicate different emotional states. How? Well, they might become more active or hide more, change their eating habits, or even alter the intensity of their color. Think of it like a mood ring, but instead of changing colors on your finger, their whole body gets in on the act. Instead of having facial expressions like we do, axolotls communicate their state through body language. They might puff up their gills when they're excited or stressed, flatten them when they're relaxed, or wave them around when they're curious. It's like they're doing a little underwater dance to tell us how they're feeling. And let me tell you, it's way more entertaining than watching most people's attempts at dancing. But why the interest in axolotl emotions? Well, it comes down to our fascination with understanding the creatures we share this planet with. Let me show you why this matters. As pet owners and researchers, knowing if axolotls have feelings helps us take better care of them. If we can recognize signs of stress or contentment, we can create better environments for them. It's like being able to read your dog's body language. Once you know what those ear twitches and tail wags mean, you're basically Dr. Dolittle. While humans have a complex range of emotions that we express through facial expressions, body language, and words, axolotls are working with a much simpler toolkit. They can't furrow their brows in confusion or smile with joy, but that doesn't mean they don't experience different states of being. It's like trying to express yourself in a foreign language with a vocabulary of only 10 words. You might not be writing poetry, but you can still get your point across. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of axolotl behavior. Don't worry, I'll keep the scientific jargon to a minimum. I promise not to throw around words like neuromodulators, limbic system more than absolutely necessary. Oh wait, I just did. Well, since they're out there, let's learn a bit more. Axolotls, like many animals, have a limbic system. That's the part of the brain associated with emotions and behavior. While it's not as complex as ours, it does suggest that they can experience some form of emotional states. They also have neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, which in humans are associated with feelings of pleasure and well-being. So, while they might not be contemplating the meaning of life or feeling existential dread, they could be experiencing some basic emotional states. But how do these internal processes manifest in axolotl behavior? When an axolotl is stressed, it might refuse food, hide more often, or even change color. A happy or content axolotl might be more active, eat well, and display brighter colors. It's like they're wearing their heart on their sleeve, or in this case, their entire body. When I first noticed these changes in my own axolotl, I felt like I'd cracked some sort of amphibian code. However, It's important to note that what we perceive as emotions in axolotls might simply be instinctive responses to environmental stimuli. When an axolotl hides, is it feeling fear, or is it just an automatic response to a perceived threat? When it becomes more active during feeding time, is it excitement or just a learned behavior? It's like trying to figure out if your computer is happy when it successfully updates. There's a lot going on under the hood that we can't see. This difference in emotional complexity reflects a broader evolution in the animal kingdom. How did it develop? Well, emotions as we understand them evolved as a survival mechanism. Fear keeps you away from danger, happiness reinforces beneficial behaviors, and so on. But the way these manifest can vary greatly across species. Axolotls, with their simpler nervous systems, likely experience a more basic version of what we call emotions. Then there's the question of consciousness. While axolotls clearly respond to their environment, it's unclear whether they have self-awareness in the way humans do. They don't pass the mirror test, a common measure of self-awareness where animals recognize their own reflection. But then again, neither do dogs. And we don't question whether Fido has feelings. It's a complex issue that even has philosophers scratching their heads. Now, with the push towards understanding animal cognition, researchers are developing new ways to study the emotional lives of creatures like axolotls. It's a nod to how far we've come from the days when we thought animals were merely automatons to now when we're trying to decipher the inner lives of creatures that don't even have eyelids to blink with. But don't forget the historical context. When I first started learning about animal behavior, I found that our understanding of animal emotions has been a journey of observation, experimentation, and occasionally anthropomorphization. Early studies often projected human emotions onto animals, leading to some pretty wild conclusions. They say love is blind, but science shouldn't be. We need to be careful not to see human-like emotions where they might not exist. The field of animal cognition has come a long way since then. We now have sophisticated tools to measure brain activity, hormone levels, and behavior patterns. But even with all this technology, the inner world of an axolotl remains largely a mystery. It's like trying to understand what's going on inside a black box. We can observe what goes in and what comes out, but the process in between is still largely unknown. Today, we're standing on the shoulders of giants. Giants who probably got a bit wet studying these aquatic creatures. The advancements in our understanding of animal behavior have allowed us to provide better care for our pets and gain insights into the complexity of life on Earth. Because if you think figuring out your own emotions is tough, try deciphering the feelings of a creature that spends its life underwater and can regrow its own brain. So what's the takeaway from all this? While we can't say for certain that axolotls experience emotions in the same way we do, there's evidence to suggest they have some form of internal states that influence their behavior. The differences between human emotions and axolotl feelings highlight the diverse ways that life has evolved to interact with its environment. Whether they're feeling joy, stress, or just responding to stimuli, what's important is that we recognize axolotls as complex living beings deserving of our care and respect. And maybe, just maybe, by studying these fascinating creatures, we'll learn a little more about ourselves. Imagine trying to explain to an axolotl why humans do half the things we do. I think we'd be the ones looking silly. Well, that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments below what you think about these charming little water dragons. Have you ever had an axolotl as a pet? Did you feel like you could read its moods? Or maybe you have a favorite axolotl fact? No judgment here. Axolotl enthusiasts are welcome. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of axolotl emotions, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any future aquatic adventures. Big thanks to my patrons for literally making this video happen. If you'd like to support the channel and help me keep exploring the mysterious emotional lives of underwater creatures, you know what to do. Until next time, keep your gills fluttering and your smile wide. And remember, even if we can't always understand them, we can always appreciate the wonder of nature. Goodbye!